Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Evolve Weekly. This week we're talking all about off-road riding. I'm going to start with some tips and tricks for setting up your board and finally some techniques to help take your riding to the next level.
One of the greatest things about the Evolve boards is the ability to convert to an all-terrain setup. This basically opens up a much wider range of areas and places where you can ride. So anything from riding around people on a path through grass and gravel to get around them, to finding a dirt or bush track where you can go and ride, even including dirt and gravel BMX tracks. It's just a great way to find areas where you just otherwise wouldn't normally be able to skate to. So a great opportunity to see what the boards are capable of is the all-terrain race in the Evolve Riders World Cup. So it's not only showcases what the riders can do, but what the boards can do in those situations. We're looking at grass, gravel, dirt tracks, BMX tracks, bumps, mounds, berms, and it's sort of great to sort of see a combination all together. The all-terrain board's going to come with the standard all-terrain tyre. It's pretty much like a slick tyre, pretty good all-rounder. It does all right in grass, gravel and dirt, but predominantly you're looking at road and hard surfaces. Doesn't have quite as much traction as some of our other options, but it is a great all-rounder and it does wear really well. Our other options are off-road knobbies. So as you can see, we've got a lot more tread on them, bit better grip in grass, dirt. They do wear out a little bit quicker, but you do notice the extra grip when you're hooking around in dirt and grass. On the road, they might feel a little bit more slippery just because you have less contact patch, but off-road situations, if that's where you're riding, grass, dirt, gravel, we'd recommend going towards these.
Racing on surfaces with loose gravel and grip, you can really do with the extra grip that some of the off-road tyres will give you. There's various different types. It really helps when you take bends fast, doesn't allow you to slide out. Also, another good tip is the extra grip on the side of the board. Extra grip allows you to stop your feet sliding off so you can dig deep.
These tires are pretty durable, but I like to use tire liners in between the tube and the tire, and it's just a little bit more assurance that I'm not going to get a flat when I'm out on a long ride. Now, if you're a speed demon like me, the 7-inch may not be enough for you. So I like to go with the 8-inch tires. Definitely use some tire liners for these because they are not as strong as the Evolve. The rubber they use is a little bit thinner, I think. But the top speed will be around 26, 27 miles per hour.
Obviously, depending on where you're riding and how you're riding, it's going to affect how you want to set up the bushes. If you're riding on, a long straight or hard packed trails, so dirt, gravel, grass, if it's fairly hard packed, no big turns around that, probably want a stiffer bushing setup. It's going to give you better control of the board and eliminate a lot of those fishtails that you don't want. If you're riding on a BMX track, don't need the bushings as tight. You still want to be able to lean around those bends, but you don't want them super loose. It's going to turn in too quickly and you're going to wind up sliding off. If you're going out just for a pure bit of fun through grass, gravel, and you want to do those slides and you want to have a bit of fun, that's when you back your bushings right off. You want them soft so you can get the board to lean. You want the trucks to turn. You want to be able to throw it around. That's when you go to your nice soft setting. As with standard riding, we always recommend all your safety gear, helmet at a very minimum, recommending elbow pads and knee guards. Riding off-road, obviously you have less stability, less traction, the chances of coming off are higher, especially if you're riding on those BMX tracks. Keep yourselves in one piece, you don't want to lose any skin, we want to see you out riding. As with any time you're riding a board, your center of gravity plays a massive part in how comfortable you feel on it and how stable you are. So if you're getting down a little bit lower, keeping your knees bent, you're going to be able to absorb the bumps when you're riding off-road, which are obviously inevitable, and you're going to get that center of gravity lower. It's going to be a little bit easier to control your body weight over the board. It's going to be easier to lean the board and actually just control the board in general. One of the biggest things customers like to do is take the boards out to BMX tracks. It's a fun way to have, blow off a bit of steam, test out the board's capabilities on different surfaces, and you don't have to worry about cars or kids or anything like that running around in front of you. Biggest thing though that people don't get used to is the berms and the hills and pretty much everything that goes on with the BMX track. The biggest thing with the berm that people probably tend to do first up is turn too sharply. So you find that when you come up to a berm, because it's banked, you don't actually have to lean that much to get through it. The banking of the berm carries you through, so you don't need to lean as much as you would normally on flat ground. You don't want to change your speed too much, keeping it fairly constant, not braking, not accelerating, just trying to flow through. Look where you're going, don't look at the ground, and it's going to help you get through those tracks without issue. So another difference you're going to find riding off-road to road is obviously traction. The biggest thing traction is going to be noticeable in situation is on hills. So you'll find normally when you're accelerating, you want to get your weight over the front of the board, keep your balance and your stability. If you do this on a hill, you take your weight off the rear, you lose traction and you don't go anywhere. So you kind of need to find that nice balance of where you're not going to fall over the back of the board when it accelerates, but you need enough weight on the rear of the board that keeps traction on the ground and actually gets you up that hill.
I like getting out on the BMX tracks a fair bit. It's always just a good idea just to walk around the track and just check out the track. A good thing, just roll your board over a few of the jumps and humps just to make sure that you've got clearance. You don't want to go flying over it and bottom out on some of the jumps. Also, if you're going on some off-road tracks, it's just a good idea to take it easy to start with and just see what the terrain is like in front of you. There's no logs or sticks or potholes full of water, anything like that could do damage to yourself or your boards.
Halfway points, so if you're riding and you just want to stop, have a look at your motors, have a look at your belts, just check and make sure they're all good. And it's also good to keep a spare set of belts with you when you're going off-riding.
Thanks for watching. I hope these tips helped with your off-road riding. And remember, if you have any ideas for our future episodes, please leave them in the comments below. Until then, we'll see you next week.